And welcome on behalf of DIIT. My name's Laura Ogando. I serve as the program manager for the Office of Digital Literacy and Inclusion. And again, just so stoked to be here with all of you again today. We made it through another week. It's gorgeous weather out there. I mean, I can't even say enough about how beautiful it is. I have been soaking up the sunshine. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the year. So I am just like vibing right now, folks. And I hope you're all doing the same. I'm going to pass it over to my girl, Christina, who's going to introduce herself and share some updates.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. I know, Laura, I'm loving my background because it's reminding me about how summer is literally right around the corner. So happy Friday, excited to see everyone. Tech Tuesday is happening on Tuesday, the 25th, this Tuesday that's coming up from 2 to 3 p.m. You should have the calendar invitation already. It is happening on Microsoft Teams. It is announced in the Microsoft Team Parent Coordinator team as well. So please stop by. It's our last one for the year. Our last one for the year is happening on Tuesday. So please stop by. If you have tech questions, this is your time to ask concerns. And usually when there are things that are escalated, if it's not solvable in that instance, we do escalate and we do get it solved. That happened last time as well. It is awesome. So our last one happening on Tuesday. If you have questions, please reach out to me privately. Happy to answer them, but please do come through. And with that, excited for today, passing it back to Laura.
Thank you, Christina. I can't believe we're already at like our last tea, coffee, tech talk.
I know.
What?
That's crazy,
oh,
right?
Goodness.
The year flew.
Time flies. It's because we were having fun. I'm convinced. And I want to shout out our awesome assistant, Latiqua. She is on the back end. As you've been noticing, she's been updating the chat with the important links you need for today's session. So again, just want to show her some love because I cannot do what I do without her. She comes to every single class and she's always so supportive in the chat. So thank you. Again, it takes a team, right? We can't do this alone. So thank you to all of my colleagues. Lisa is not here today. She got pulled into another meeting, but she sends her love and she knows it's going to be an awesome session. So with that, I'm going to throw it over to Derry to introduce herself and share some updates from space.
Thank you, Laura, and happy Friday, everyone. Oh my God, I'm just gonna go like this really quickly because it's so beautiful outside, and it's Friday. You guys, we made it. We're here, and it's our weekly series, and really grateful for this partnership with our colleagues, our Friday team, our wonderful team at DIITT, and I just gotta say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just gonna share quickly some announcements. And when I share the announcements, after the announcement, I am going to do something a little special for us. So friendly reminder, Watch Party Wednesday. The next watch party is June 9th. June 9th. So we do have a link, but you will have to check it out at the end of the week wrap-up email, or I'm gonna drop it in the link. I'm gonna drop the link to register for the next watch party, June 9th, on the Microsoft Team channel. It's all about summer recharge. Summer recharge. We're going to recharge for the summer, and we're going to get some cool, exciting tips from our wonderful friends at Learning Heroes. So look out for that. We will have some also announcements about what is happening with Summer Rising, some free programming, and everything that we need to know to get our parents recharged and our students ready for the fall. That's going to happen, Watch Party Wednesday, June 9th. Okay, next announcement. May. May is about Mental Health Awareness Month. It's time for us to do a quick check. Like, let's do a quick temperature check and check in with ourselves. It's important that we recognize our mental health. And it's also because if we can't take care of ourselves, how can we take care of others? So pretty excited. Yesterday, we started the series in the morning and in the afternoon of having courageous conversations on how are we doing self-care, and also wonderful resources that the New York City Department of Health is offering through the mayor's department, through the mayor's initiatives. And it was just a great conversation. It also, we talked about COVID-19 and the impact of our mental health and our families. So please, guys, if you haven't had a chance, check out the next workshop, which is May 27th. So it's the same workshop, but a different date in case you missed it this week. We are repeating it on May 27th at 9:30 to 11. And then again, May 27th on 1:30 at 1:30 to 3 o'clock. It's the same day, but one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So don't miss it. It's all about us sharing about how are we right now, just like a quick check. How are you feeling? And how are we going to turnkey the information that we're learning? Shout out to Linda Delton. I know that she's doing amazing work. Her district is actually promoting some events. And if you are promoting some mental health workshops, please drop it in the chat. I see Linda, you already dropped it, so I'm pretty excited. Hashtag mental health matters. Linda, if you can drop also the link so that we can join. Hey, we're virtual, so I can be at 3 places at once. So that's exciting. So thank you guys. And I really just, again, please make sure to be kind to yourself and to do that temperature check, especially during Mental Health Awareness Month. With that, I want to do something really quickly. I want to ask you guys a question. I want to know just if I can have some brave volunteers. I just need 2 volunteers. One of volunteers, if you can let us know, the Digital Friday team, how are you using our Digital Friday platform? I'm ready to know because we're almost at the end. So I know Laura, Lisa, Letiqua, Christina, Diana, and our whole team is always saying, wow, I wonder what's happening out there in the parent coordinator world and our district colleagues, our FSCs, us as parent liaisons, how are we using it? I know how I'm using it. I love the fact that I'm learning about Microsoft Translator. I love the fact that I'm learning so much free resources and common sense education with Tali. Oh my gosh. I just like every time I learn something, I need to share. So I'm sharing. I'm doing a lot of sharing. So let me see if we have any brave volunteers. And in the chat, I do have Chanel. Chanel is the face of face. She will be on the chat, just kind of like looking around to see what are we saying. And also Diana Miller is here to say hi. So we're chatting in the we will be chatting in the chat area with you all. But in the chat, really quickly, one volunteer, if you can raise your virtual hand and let us know. Oh, I see Miss Cooper. Miss Cooper, you can unmute yourself. Let us know how are you using Digital Friday?
I'm going to be really honest with you guys. This was so overwhelming. I remember September or was it October when we had our first meeting and we were working remote and I'm like, what is this? It was a meeting about us doing technology. I'm like, oh, another thing they added to parent coordinator. I was so overwhelmed, but every month it got easier and easier. So now I am like the tech person at the school. I could put PowerPoints together. I could register for Zooms. I am sharing everything that I have with my team. I'm actually helping my administration there. Everyone is benefiting from me attending these workshops. So thank you, and thank you.
Appreciate it. Ms. Cooper, thank you for sharing. I love it. Do we have anyone else who wants to share really quickly? Please feel free to raise your virtual hand or just quickly unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, yes, I've been attending a lot of trainings and just parent workshops and so forth. So I did inform everyone there that we were using that I learned from Friday, the Microsoft Translator. So everyone started saying, where is that? What's the app? So I shared that with them at a workshop. And I mentioned that the other parent coordinators that I know that were there, I told them, you should come into the Friday, you learn a lot. We got Microsoft from the Friday, from the FACE PDs on Fridays, and they said, oh, we're gonna attend. So, and also I've been attending every Friday. It's been very, very helpful for me.
Thank you so much, Anna. Oh my gosh, I love to hear this. I know that our Friday team is like, oh my God, this is so amazing. So thank you so much, guys, for sharing because we really tried. I know that Laura, Lisa, Letiqua, Christina, they really, as our colleagues, as our thought partner, they really think about how we as family liaisons can really sharpen our skills to do outreach to our families, because especially around this time, especially this year that we have, our families, we need to make sure that we know how to stay connected, especially in this virtual world. So shout out to our wonderful colleagues. Again, you know, I wanted to do this special because I wanted them to hear how we are using this platform to really level up our digital skills. So with that, I am turning it over to Laura. Thank you so much, guys. And I can't wait to learn something new today. So Tali and Sue, I can't wait to hear from you guys next.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, guys, my bucket is so full. To use like such a teacher term, I am just full of all of the feels right now, just listening to the two folks who just shared, and also what's being shared in the chat. Honestly, amazing. Thank you. This has always just been about supporting you, and it's great to hear that these have been helpful, that folks have been learning. That's what this is about. And like I said, we are looking to keep this going for next year because we know that you will still need support, right? This isn't going away, and we have to just continue to level up and get better. So thank you to all of you. As we have something special that we are planning in the works. We want to make our last session in June very celebratory. So we'll be getting more of your feedback because we want to share that. We need to celebrate, right? This has been a year of just a lot of struggles and challenges, and we have to celebrate, and we have to celebrate hard, right? I'm very big on you work hard, but you play harder. So with that, couple of announcements. I know I talked about this last week, but for some folks that weren't able to join, do just want to remind you that emergency broadband benefit is now open. I'm going to click on this. We'll drop the link to it in the chat. I don't know why this isn't opening. There we go. One second, folks. Clearly the internet's being a little slow. So we'll drop this link into the chat. Latika, it's on that slide in the notes. But if you will remember, Guillermo shared this with us about a month or so ago, said it was kind of on the horizon, but the application hadn't opened. Well, guess what? It has opened, all right? So you'll see if you scroll down, it'll tell you to apply now. Please share this with your families, all right? Some of the highlights of this kind of subsidy program is that eligible families will get up to $50 per month towards broadband service and a one-time discount of up to $100 to purchase a laptop. You know, there is somewhat of a like down payment anywhere between 10 and 50 towards the purchase price, but still, this is a great benefit to share with your families. You'll see some of the kind of eligibility requirements below. So if families are receiving free and reduced price school lunch or the school breakfast program, they're eligible. If anyone has received a federal Pell Grant in the current award year, if you already meet some of the existing low-income programs for broadband providers, you're typically eligible. And if you experience any sort of substantial loss of income since February 29th of 2020, then you may be eligible. So again, this is a great resource to just share out to families, see if they are eligible, right? Right, here we go. And then we wanted to promote a PD. So you will remember Michaela from Microsoft, who's actually going to be here next week. But Michaela's doing a very special session all about how to use Teams Live to run, say, graduation or kind of moving up ceremonies. Now, this is definitely a workshop that's meant for whoever at your school is kind of doing graduation. So it's why we didn't present this here, because we know that for many parent coordinators, you may not be involved in the direct planning. But this is something that if you've got several folks at your school who are working on putting together a virtual graduation, you're going to want to attend this because Teams Live is very different than just regular Teams. Teams Live really has a production element to it, and the interface, especially when you're producing the event, very, very different. So this is going to be a great training for folks if you want to understand how to run a live event and do it somewhat seamlessly, all right? So you can register by going to our learning calendar. We'll drop that link in the chat. But this is happening next Thursday at 12, all right? So again, the information is on our learning calendar, and definitely look out for this one, all right? Next Thursday, 12. But with that, time to do some polling. We got to find out who's in the Zoom room. So 1 second here while I launch this poll. And you already know the drill. If you are one of our returning guests, if you happen to be other, put it in the chat. Let us know. We're nosy. We always like to know who's here.
All right, looks good.
Right? I see we got a lot of folks here today. Remember, you got a few more moments. Nudge that colleague who's not here yet. Tali and Sue are about to take it over in just another few moments, and nobody's going to want to miss this. All right, this is the good stuff. So, you know, like they say, the good stuff.
I'm gonna give you guys a hint, just like parent coordinator toolkit, family engagement toolkit. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, I wonder who's the other.
Right? Actually, I see some folks in. So we've got some community coordinators here. Folks who are supporting our students in temporary housing. Oh, we got Laura B in the house. That's the other Laura at DIIT. You got the Lauras here. So.
You know, I'm curious if this is your first Friday. First Friday, please let us know your name in the chat so we can give you a quick shout out. But Laura, the room is full.
Right? All right, so I'm going to end this poll. Looks like we have an overwhelming number of parent coordinators as per usual. So welcome, welcome. But I see we have some FSCs, FLCs on the line. We got a teacher, we got an administrator, and I know we have several other folks who've been popping their titles into the chat. So welcome to everyone who's here, and a special welcome to all the new folks who are making it. Welcome, you're about to experience quite a show today. All right, let me launch our next poll, because you already know, we want to know how you're feeling, right? How's it going? It's been another crazy week, right? But hopefully, now that it's Friday and you're here, you're feeling a whole lot better. All right, there we go. So you should see that poll on your screen. And remember, you got to scroll down to H and I, right? H, none of the above, I, all the feelings. I have to say, with the weather being what it is, I don't know, I'm just not in a bad mood. Maybe it's just me. I feed off of sunshine. I'm like a plant. Like, you give me a little sunshine and I'll all of a sudden perk up.
It's all about the sun. It's definitely, you know, seasonal depression is definitely real.
Totally. I couldn't be one of those people that lives in Alaska where like they experience like months of like darkness. No. I would totally like just shrivel up, literally like a plant. All right, folks, we're gonna give you a few more
except
seconds.
for the humidity. Oops, sorry.
Oh yeah, no humidity. See, and that's why I love spring. Spring's my jam. Like, and this weather right now, this like right before summer, but we're at that sweet spot of spring.
Yes.
Yeah. This does not look good in the humidity, right? I think that's where Christina and I are coming from. We're like, yeah, no, get that away. Derry too. Derry's rocking the curls. Curls and humidity do not go. All right, folks, I'm going to end our feelings poll. I will share the results. We are overwhelmingly happy because it's Friday. Come on, right? It's my second favorite F word after food. Duh. All right, folks. So, couple of classes that are on deck. May 28th, Michaela is going to be back. She's actually going to come back for the next 2 weeks. How cool is that? We are really taking a deep dive into the Microsoft tools. We'll look at the Microsoft Office translation tools next week. And then June 4th, she's going to do a whole PD around Stream and actually how Stream has a lot of the built-in translation features. So you're not going to want to miss the next 2 sessions with Michaela. And remember, May 27th, that's Thursday, separate session of this. It won't be part of our Friday, but invite your graduation team if they're doing some sort of virtual graduation, because she's also leading the May 27th PD on how to do virtual graduations, moving up ceremonies, and live events using Microsoft Teams Live. All right.
And Laura, do we have a link? Do we have a link?
Actually, it's just our learning calendar. So we'll pop the link to our learning calendar into the chat. But that's all you need. All right,
that's all you need, guys.
With that, I am officially turning it over to Tali and Sue. I am so excited for them to be here and to lead us in a wonderful training on how to equip your families with the tools they need. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm also going to stop sharing, and I am going to pass it on over. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here with us today.
Great. Thank you, Laura and Derry, and the rest of the team. What a great way to start the morning. I will admit I had a little bit of a frazzly morning. And so coming into here, it just, as always, pumps me up and makes me feel great. So thank you. We are delighted to have you all here today. I am especially excited because I have my wonderful colleague, Sue from Los Angeles, joining us. Sue, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Good morning. I got myself up extra early. I am not quite awake yet. I am on Pacific time. And so I grabbed my coffee. I'm a little bit slow this morning, but I made it. And I am so happy to join you all here today. I'm in Los Angeles, and I kind of do the same thing Polly does. I support schools. I mostly support Los Angeles Unified here in California, but I do a lot with the parents who are here in the region, and as well as a lot of the educators here. So yeah, glad to be here.
Thanks, Sue. And Sue also has a background in public health, and she is also a parent of 2 teens, and I'm a parent of 2 younger kids, so we're representing both sides. I'm also a DOE parent and a former classroom teacher, so this is where I have to shout out, like I do weekly, Mrs. Shamana, my former parent coordinator who saved me so many times, and my kids' current parent coordinator, Mrs. Pamela. Thank you so much. So it's great to be here with all of you. We are from Common Sense, you know about us, but just quick background, we have had a partnership with the DOE now for 10 plus years. I think we're on our 11th year. We're a nonprofit organization, and we're really about helping nurture and build strong relationships in families, strong relationships at schools, through the lens of media and technology, and thinking about how do you kind of deal with some of those challenges that pop up. You know, we hear all the time from parents things like, and Sue, I know you feel this as a parent of teens, like, hey, I'm trying to connect with my kids, but they're always in their device. What are they doing on social media? Why are they laughing so much? And why can't I be part of the joke? You know, I know, especially for me this year, managing all the remote school instruction and some of the challenges there as well. So that's really what we're here to help with, is to provide resources. So we're going to make this, as usual, as interactive as possible. You have in the chat right now the agenda. It's a very detailed agenda, and it also has links directly to the slides. So to get the most out of today's session, if you haven't already registered at Common Sense, a free education account, I recommend using your DOE email address. Go ahead and do that while we're talking. This is a great group who chats a lot, so please, you know, chat us up in the Zoom. I'll be tag teaming this with Sue, but she'll jump in because I'm a terrible multitasker. I will not be looking at the chat, but she will be, as well as the full team. Go ahead and show us some reactions, and we're going to be doing breakout sessions as well. So we're actually going to kick it off by going straight into a breakout room so you guys have a chance to talk with each other. And what we'd love is for you to share. You're going to be in rooms of about 4. I think Laura's going to cue that up. Introduce yourselves. Who are you? What's your role? And share, you know, how are you feeling about advising your families around their tech and media use? We've got some examples for you on the screen. It doesn't have to be A, B, or C, but take a minute to think about that. We're going to give you about 3.5 or 4 minutes, so you each have a chance to talk and introduce yourself, and you will be back with the same group later as well. So with that, I'm going to invite Laura to invite you to a room. Thanks, Laura.
No problem. So I'll remain here in the main room, but you should see something on your screen prompting you to join a room. We ask that you join. You'll only be there for about 3 minutes.
I love the magic of breakout rooms. Just watching.
Another dimension,
Yeah,
always.
exactly. I'm going to stay in this main room too. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Anyone's having issues getting into their breakout room, let us know. You have a little button at the bottom of your screen that says breakout room, and you have a choice there, and you can go ahead and click join now. For anyone who just joined, oh, we've got 2 unassigned participants. Lynette Bradshaw, I'm going to go ahead and assign you to a room. Oh, and Mara will assign you to a room. Oh, great. Thanks, Laura. Your broadcasting is ours. You're so on it. No, that's way better. That's way better.
No problem.
Tali asked me if I wanted to run the rooms, and I was just like,
No,
I'm barely functional. Give me a couple hours.
You look great.
right.
At 7 in the morning. I'll be really honest. So
Usually I'm
I did
just
not realize
rolling
you
out of
were
bed.
West Coast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And-
Only for Tali. I don't do this for everybody. I only get up early for Tali.
We're special. See, we're special at the DOE.
For those who are still here, you can click the breakout rooms at the bottom to join. You have about 2 more minutes. And I'm gonna ask, you know, Laura and Sue right now, how do you guys feel about advising families, advising parents about tech and media?
I will tell you that I find it hard. I find it difficult because I know theoretically what it is that, you know, I should be doing as a parent, and that's what I talk about. But putting it into practice for myself and for my own kids, you know, sometimes it's easier than it is otherwise. And so, you know, I can say what I'm, you know, what I advise people to do or what I suggest, but I know in reality, that doesn't always happen. And so that's my, you know, it's so hard to do that. I don't know how you feel, Laura.
In a way, I have a similar feeling because I don't have children. So I feel like for me, it's very easy to say, oh, here's what you should do, right? Like, here's the advice, because, you know, people look at me and go, yeah, but you don't have kids. Like, it's, of course it's easy for you to say that, right? So I too struggle with it. It's like, I know, you know, what the, you know, latest research says, kind of what the trends are, but it's quite another when it's you, right? And it's, you know, having to parent your own child. I think, if anything, I just love that we're having this conversation, because for so long we weren't, right? And so I think the fact that we're at least talking and sharing ideas and sharing, you know, where we struggle, right? We have to talk about that.
For sure. I think that's the opportunity for folks to be able to just get back together and have that conversation and know that we're not doing this by ourselves.
So people are slowly coming back in. As you're coming back in, you can feel free to share anything that came out in the chat, or you can show us with a reaction. Oh, that's my timer. Or you can show us with a reaction how your breakout session was. We stayed in the main room. I'm going to go ahead and actually give a heart because I enjoyed my conversation with the ladies over here. And I think everybody is back in, or we're slowly coming back in. Yeah, okay. Great. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that was helpful. You can share anything that came up in the chat if you would like, or you can simply show with a reaction, your Zoom reactions at the bottom of the screen, how this experience was, how the conversation went for you. And I'm going to move us to the next slide. So for the next, I would say about 35 minutes or so, we're going to give you a very brief overview of some of the latest research around media and technology. And then we're going to really talk about 3 steps for family engagement around media and technology and managing it. And then kind of throughout, we're going to give you some time and we're going to discuss ways to share this information, right? Because that's always the goal. What are we learning and how do we share it with our families? Because you all know your communities best and what their needs are. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sue, who's going to walk us through a little bit of the research.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tali. And so you can see that, that we at Common Sense do a lot of research about kids and technology. And what we have here is some of the information that we gathered from parents and from kids comparing 2017 to 2020. And so you can see that the amount of screen time that kids are using really comes from, at this point, a lot of online videos. Of course, as you know, many of our kids are watching tons of YouTube, but you can also see that there is a lot of, stuff from streaming platforms, and then television has really taken a dive over the last, over the last 2 years. And so you can see the amount of screen time that kids are using at this point, right? So, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and this is specifically for kids 0 to 8.
Exactly. Yep. And so you can also see that when it comes to parents who have 0 to 8-year-olds, parents are overwhelmingly feeling pretty positive about the amount of screen time that their kids, about the kinds of screen time and the quality of the contribution of that screen time to the kids' lives. And they really feel like it's beneficial for things like learning and creativity. And then, if you think about something like Sesame Street, right? Or that kind of thing where kids are really learning about social skills, learning about how to interact with each other. But when it comes to physical activity, of course, parents see that the more screen time that their kids are engaged in, the less physical activity their kids are also engaged in. So that is one of the downsides that parents also cite. So, for older kids, for social media, and our older kids, and I can certainly attest to this with my teenagers, there is a level of benefit that comes from the social media, especially during this time of the pandemic. So this is specific information that comes from talking to kids 14 to 22. And they talk about the importance of staying connected with their friends and family in this time of social isolation where we physically couldn't get together, and how that has really improved their ability to be able to feel connected. And so, when we think about all this screen time, we not only have to think about, as parents, and as folks who are involved with kids, not just think about the drawbacks and feeling like kids are isolated in this way. We have to also remember that they're connecting with each other. And so, being informed about what's going on in the world and, learning how to take care of themselves during this time, of the pandemic has really been beneficial to a lot of kids. So also those kids also say that, when they're depressed or when they're anxious, social media can make them feel better. Of course, there's also information about the impacts of depression and on mental health. But, at this point, we really, I want to just highlight some of the benefits that come from social media as well.
Thanks, Sue. So we're gonna do a quick poll on Menti with you now. You've got the direct link in your agenda, and we'll pop it in the chat, or you could hold up your phone. But 2 questions: how are you feeling about your own screen time? Because as we're talking about advising families, it's helpful to reflect on our own views. And how are you feeling about your students' screen time? This could be students at your school, it could also be your own family members. So we're going to ask you to share both of those. And as you're sharing that, I'm going to go ahead and open up the Menti link. And I'm going to put it in presentation mode. I know we've used Mentimeter before. I like this because it is free and you can see in real time people's reactions. And it does not collect user data. If anyone can tell me, is this link working for everyone?
I put in the Menti link into
Yes,
the
it
chat.
is.
Okay,
Great. Thank you.
All right, there we go. Popped up. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so this is by the way, I know I just shared a couple of notes about it, but I love this tool because especially when we're doing virtual presentations or even in person with parents and students, it's great because you can have everyone participating, sharing their thoughts, and we can get a feel for how people are feeling in the room. So this is, right now it's interesting that it's kind of matching adults and students. When Sue and I did a similar presentation last week, right, Sue, a lot of the adults were right in the middle. They were like, yeah, I'm feeling okay. But when it
I feel
came
good about myself.
yeah,
I feel like I got it under control. That's what a lot of
but the
parents are saying.
kids, but the kids are awful, you know, but this to me seems much more balanced.
At least you're matching. You're both a little bit over the line, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And I'm gonna ask you to keep this. I'm gonna close out of this one real quick. Oh, I'm not gonna go to the next Menti yet. Never mind. I'm gonna prompt myself so I've got it on the right screen for the next Menti that we're gonna do. Okay, great. So thinking about kind of your own views on this, we're gonna now transition into thinking about what are kind of the 3 steps to family engagement. And this is as Common Sense has kind of outlined it into these steps in terms of planning, implementing, and evaluating. And all of our resources are pulled from this family engagement resource toolkit we have. And so we'll put that link in the chat and we'll show you that in a moment, but that's where it's coming from. And as we kick that off, we want to take a minute. We're going to go back to that Menti and you can refresh your screen. For you to share, how are you currently engaging with your students' families? Are you using, you know, your school's website? Do you have a Facebook page? Anyone have YouTube channels? Maybe everybody's on the IG. Do you have those parent coffees virtually? Are you thinking about starting them up again in person? What are you thinking about for curriculum night? Do you have any newsletters? Kind of anything that you're doing here. Here's just some examples. Oops, and I'm trying to.
So so we're asking you to add, you know, to that same Menti link. I've popped it into the chat again. And however you are currently engaging with your families, right? Tell us about it, right? And you know, that's Tali's going to show us some of the ways that you're currently engaging with families here and some of the answers that all of you are talking about. So virtual, right? At iMessage, WhatsApp, excellent. Those are really interesting. Google Classroom, phone calls, that's fabulous. Lots of online, almost too much. I worry that information is getting lost. I hear you. I will tell you, I just received 17 text messages yesterday from LAUSD and it made me nuts, right? And that's just about every single day. So as a parent, you know, I'm overwhelmed with the information that I'm getting from my school district, and it's not from just my individual school. It's from, you know, it's from the district, it's from the the superintendent, it's from like all levels that are all coming into my phone. So as I'm talking to parent coordinators, I'm very mindful of that.
And you know what, I think this is a great point too, Sue, because I know that one of our goals is to be able to reach as many families as possible in as many different ways. And particularly thinking about some of our harder to reach families who may not always be connected. So it's finding that balance. And actually what we're going to do in a minute is have you go back into breakout rooms and think about what's working. So I'm thinking about the person who said, I worry that my information is getting lost. And then I think about, you know, I feel great now that we've been receiving these trainings. I feel very confident. So what is working and how do you know?
Yeah, how do you know that what you're doing is working, right? Is actually reaching the hardest to reach parents. That's my number one concern. It's not the parents that show up for everything, right? It's the ones that really need the information. How do you know that you're reaching them, or what can you think about doing to get to them, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, so that's what we want you to have the conversation about, but you only have 3 minutes.
And we're going to put you back in breakout rooms and encourage you, if you're not sure right now, to be as open and as possible with your colleagues and just listen and ask questions too. And if you had any issues getting into the breakout room, just as a reminder, you should see it popping up on your screen, which room, or at the bottom of your screen, it says breakout room and you can join. I'm going to start this timer. It has a really obnoxious sound when it ends. So I think everyone, and I'm going to, all right, people are starting to go into their breakout rooms. If you have any issues, please go ahead and unmute yourself and we'll help you get into those rooms.
I will say it.
Oh,
Oh, go
but
ahead.
nobody was there.
Say that again, Carmen.
I went into the breakout room, but nobody was there.
Okay. So maybe they're coming in, but why don't you share with us? What's working at your school and how do you know?
Well, in my building, because I know a lot of that, we have a percentage of families that basically have difficulty still today with media and using the logging in and all of that. So I do a lot of massive outreach. I do phone blasts, I do emails, I even play detective on Facebook. Okay, so I hunt them down. And if I know that this is a student that's desperately in need of a specific service or needs to be in the school because a 407 was generated and he's missing an action, even though I'm not supposed to do the home visits, I still go and do the home visit and I let them know your child and you are in jeopardy right now. You need to come to the school. But I do a lot of text messaging back and forth. That's what I was doing just now in between. I'm getting constantly interrupted because just after I finished PTA meeting elections, immediately after that, they tell me, oh, we got to do the outreach for summer school. And I'm bugging out because there's 2 different applications. I don't know which one is supposed to use. So a lot of parents have a lot of confusion. So I have to sit down, do research, reach out to people and find out what's going on. But I do a lot of my one-on-one is my number one effective method because you're dealing with them directly. So when you show them that you care about the outcome and how it's going to benefit them, they're more lenient to doing it as opposed to just send me the link and I'll do it because they're not going to get it done. Like an example of it is the parent surveys that we used to do, the green envelopes. Okay, we're not doing green envelopes now. Now we're doing it online. So what I started doing was I sent them the link through the phone and I stay there with them, showing them literally, this is what you gotta do. Let me send you the link. And it's like this. But if you're not in front of them and make sure they're doing it, they're gonna go home and forget. Because once they see how many questions there are, they're gonna be like, oh my God, this is too long. You know, I already know, I already expect certain behaviors from the past. So, but I do a lot of one-on-one. I like doing my one-on-one because it's more effective and you're building that trust and relationship with families. You gotta continue building that trust with them because if you lose that trust, you lose them. And then you got to start all over again.
Thank you, Carmen, for sharing. And I'm seeing in the chat too, Sadiqa, thanks. You're talking about doing quite a bit of one-on-one. Feel free to share in the chat what you're doing and how you know it's working. I really appreciate that point about parents aren't always comfortable in groups. I know for myself, my best method, especially when I'm unsure about something or it's new, is I like that one-on-one too. It's more time consuming, right, Carmen?
Yes.
But it can make a difference. And I'm also curious if any of you are I know you have your PTAs too, but how maybe you're leveraging those so it's not always you who's having that one-on-one, but if you have a team of parents who you can say, oh, great, you know, Sue, I know you're having a problem, or, you know, Joyce, you know, I'm going to go ahead and direct you to Susan to help you out, or Gayesi to help you out, and so forth.
Well, I don't use the parents for that purpose, mainly because of privacy issues. I don't know. I like to keep that. If I need help in anything that I know it requires some level of privacy, I would rather work with my team in the school because we have an attendance team.
Sure.
And everything that has to do with attendance, almost everything that has to do with families affects attendance. So I basically just meet with my attendance team and I tell them, listen, I have a situation. Can you help me with this family until I can get back to her? And that's how we work it out amongst each other. So they're like 3 of us that account the school aides. There's 2 of them in the team and we're constantly supporting one another with it.
Okay.
Hi, I hate to interrupt, but I was just taken out of my group and I don't know how to get back over there.
You are in the right place because now we're back in the full team.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I'm guessing that you had a great conversation, Miss Gray. So please go ahead and share in the chat anything that came up. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Now we're coming back in. We're going to talk about that first step of planning. And the first piece of this, and again, Sue, if you don't mind dropping the chat, that link to our to the implementation guide, awesome. There's a survey. It's a digital life survey. You know, we have it available in English and Spanish. Again, we're a nonprofit so if you can translate these into other languages, please do so. We would love to do that, and that's a hope. We're just waiting on grant funding for that. But in the meantime, this is a great way to find out, you know, what's going on at your school, what topics are of most interest to your parents as they relate to media and technology. And the second part there, Sue, do you want to talk about the second piece?
Sure. So, you know, if you're unfamiliar with one of the things that we do at Common Sense is we do digital citizenship. And so we have a lot of lessons available. And so one of the ways that we are asking folks to think about engaging families is through this concept of what we call digital citizenship, where our students are learning about how to have media balance in their lives, or how to understand how to protect their own privacy online, or how to have relationships in a healthy way online. And so with each of those lessons comes some family tips. And so, you know, one of the ways that we recommend is if you are teaching any of these digital citizenship lessons at your school, parents love to hear it. They love to hear that schools are engaged with, you know, with helping their kids be better people online. And so you can really use that as a way to start a conversation, right? And it's a way to be very positive, you know, in that interaction, and really letting, you know, parents know that we are having these open conversations and these communications here at school with your students. We want you to do this as well at home. And so here are some ways that you can reinforce this conversation, and your students can receive this information, not just from us at school, but also bring this in, you know, at home as well. And so with each of these lessons, there is family, you know, tip sheets and family, and, you know, activities that you can do at home.
And just so you know too, we are providing professional development to classroom teachers on this. I do this monthly with Laura and Latiqua and Christina, and Sue is going to share in the chat a link to our free PDs that you can share with your administrators and your teachers to learn more about, you know, creating this culture of digital citizenship. So the second part, we just talked about that plan piece. The second part is the implementation. And Sue just mentions kind of the different components of family engagement. We're going to walk you through just a few of them today. The first one is this family media agreement, and it's directly hyperlinked. You also have the link in your agenda. What I really love about this is the idea is that it's this living document where you're having a conversation. All of this is about fostering and promoting conversations. Like, hey, what does it mean to take care of your device? What does it mean to stay safe? And here's really concrete suggestions, like don't share private information. We've got some examples, and as a family, you can talk through what that looks like. Don't share your password, for example. And then really this thinking first part, you know, having from kindergarten talking about, yeah, when you're online, it can be so fun to respond quickly, to all the way up to our teens being like, yeah, I feel that need to respond quickly. How do I slow down and pause and think about what I'm really putting out there? And then this to me is almost one of my favorite places to start with all age kids, is that balance piece. How do we take time? How do we pause for people? We have an elementary school lesson called Pause for People. And of course, this open communication. So this is something that you can share with families at any point. This is something where you might even have this as a back to school night. You kind of walk families through it. The second part here is our family tip sheets. So these I'm going to click on as well. I love our family tip sheets. They are really simple and straightforward. As you can see, we have it divided up into elementary and middle school. I'm just going to click on elementary for you to see. And let's do that. We have the family tip sheets available in 10 languages. So you can go ahead and click on that more languages to find the language that matches your school community. And these tips are really straightforward on all of these different topics. As we're talking right now, go ahead and open that up and you can see one. And then the second piece is the family activities. So going back to the lessons that Sue shared, every lesson always has a family activity with the idea that, again, we're encouraging families to have conversations. And I just want to share one example. This is also going to be your opportunity to stand up and stretch. I'm going to play a little video. Warning, this song will get stuck in your head if you listen to it a lot. So I'm gonna play just a minute of it.
Balance is important for me and you and you. Balance helps us stand up straight and keeps us in our shoes. But sometimes with technology, balancing's hard to do. Yes, balance is important for me and you and you. So gather around to hear our song and learn these words are true. When you look up from your screen when a friend says hi, share your game if they want to try. Play outside when the sun is bright. Devices go off when you say goodnight. It makes your whole self happy when you're balancing just right. Balance is important for me and you and you.
Did you see my DJ move? How I was trying to fade out the music instead of making it so abrupt. Yeah, I'm an aspiring DJ. So again, this is a short video. We also have it as a classroom lesson, but we recommend families have a conversation then about it when we have suggested questions to it. And I will say it's really nice, especially in schools that have been teaching digital citizenship for a few years, that you've got the 5th graders who are able to sing this song to the kindergarten and 1st grade students too, because they've been hearing it for a while. And then the last piece I want to share before we go into our next session is our our Tech Balance program. I love this. I'm going to click on it. This is our free text messaging program for parents. It's available in English and Spanish. You get 2 texts a week on a range of different topics. I'm going to pull up mine right now. Sue, do you get the text? I don't know if you signed up for that.
I do sign up for that. Yeah, I get them even though my kids are old. My kids are 14 and 17, and this is really designed for parents of kids who are younger, like 3 to 8 years old. But even at that, there's still a lot of great information that comes across and just ideas and resources that I can use as a parent when it comes to, for example, the emergency broadband benefit was part of the latest text, right? So if I'm a parent who could benefit from that, no matter how old my kids are, I want to receive that information and get that direct link straight from Common Sense. So that's just an example. But a lot of times it's about activities that I, as a parent, can do, both online and offline, and especially celebrations. For example, for AAPI history, there was information that came across that. So ideas in which I can engage my kids and use some resources to learn and to share it together. So what else have you found across there? So these, the information is right there. You can just go to your phone, open up your texting app, and you text the word kids to 21555 if you want it in English. You can text the word, I don't know if you have the Spanish language one, but familia is the word that you use, there you go, if you want it in Spanish. And you receive just a couple of messages per week.
Yeah, it's really nice and casual. I'm just looking at one I got because yesterday, thanks to Daria, I had the opportunity to join the Power Empowerment team meeting. And one of the things that the team was sharing is that they're hearing a lot from parents. A big concern is, did my kid learn everything they need to learn this year? Are they ready for the next school year? One of the recent Tech Balance texts I got was, try the readiness check. Your child answers short questions in math and reading, and you get fun, free videos and activities to support learning at home. So again, it's directly to my phone. I can click on it whenever I need to and do those free activities to support.
And I will say that my favorite part is there's always, it's an image and it's colorful and it's not boring. And, that is my favorite part, is it's engaging. It's a treat on my phone, which I don't always get treats on my phone.
Yeah. My kids were holding my phone and they were like, Mommy, a new tech balance tip. I was like, all right. Okay, and the last piece really of this, the 3 steps, is the evaluate piece. And really what we should say is it says evaluation and accountability, but it's really evaluation, accountability, and celebration. So Sue, can you share with us this example from LA Unified?
All right, so this was one of my favorite schools here at LA Unified. It was down the street from me, and their dedication to not just teaching digital citizenship at this school, but also involving the parent community and trying to help them understand what this whole concept of being safe and being positive online was really from the principal. He drove this whole thing, and he created a slide deck using Google Slides. So just, similar to what we're doing today, but he had his message on the very first page. And then he also had a blank page, a blank slide for every one of his classrooms. And they all filled in. So there's the example there. I don't know, probably if you put that in the chat, but the example there shows how every classroom filled in their own message. And when the whole deck was put together, they put it on a screen in the front office, and they also put it on their school website. So it's not just a message from the principal about what it is that he felt was valuable about being respectful and responsible online, but it came from every classroom, and it had every kid's face, right, across the whole school K-5. And so every classroom was represented, and it really helped each of those students take ownership and what was going on. It was an outward message to the community, literally in their front office. As soon as you walked in, you saw this on a rotator, right? You saw that message come out from each classroom, and they were able to share what it was that they felt was really important about being positive online, about having healthy media balance, about how they treated each other. And so I just thought that was just a great example of a way to do it, very easily.
Great, thanks, Sue. Yeah, I love that. And the other piece of that is common sense recognition. So this is something we started basically to recognize and acknowledge schools when they are taking a whole community approach. They're teaching digital citizenship. If you are a common sense school, that means that all of your students are getting some lessons around digital citizenship, and you're sending home family engagement resources. A big part is really having that family engagement piece too. And I will tell you that administrators also really love the common sense recognition, because it's a way of letting your community know what you value, but also when, I'm going to say in most situations, that tech problem comes up. I'm thinking about a recent school that shared a cyberbullying and sexting incident. The school leadership can say, hey, this is an isolated incident, we're addressing it, but let me tell you about how we're being proactive so that this is not systemic. It's not throughout the whole school. And that's what I really appreciate, is that proactive piece of what kind of culture do we have here. So I'm gonna have us pause for a moment. And I think we're gonna stay, Sue, should we do breakout sessions again? And Laura, or should we stay whole group, you think?
I'm gonna pass to Laura.
I'm thinking it might be best to stay here, only because I think there's some confusion with the breakout rooms. So yeah, and I see someone in the chat full group. So
okay,
great. Whole group. I'm agreeing with Simone.
So I'm going to ask you to take a moment to reflect in the chat. What from today will you share with your families, and how will you get started? So go ahead and share that in the chat. And that way we can also see what other people are saying. And if anyone would like to share whole group, we welcome that as well. I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a moment so that we can share a little bit more, but I'll keep this question up. What from today will you share, and how will you get started? Oh, I already see Miss Ruiz, you just shared broadband information. I loved seeing Simone's motivational Monday emails. How fantastic, and that you're going to share about tech balance there. As a side note, I know that Derry kicked us off by talking about how May is Mental Health Month. One of the tech balance texts was a reminder about mental health, and it had a list of apps and sites to help with mental health. some were about like relaxation apps and things like that, specifically for parents and caregivers. Yes, Carmen, you add the parents can just text in and then they'll start getting the messages. It's not an app. It's a you're signing up for text messages. Yeah. Great, Marcia, I appreciate you sharing that you have a tech talk coming up next week. You can share this with your families. If you don't mind sharing the chat, what do you think you'll start with your families? Is it the family media agreement? Is it tech balance? Maybe those family tips, you're putting them on your website.
So I think initially we'd probably put a survey or poll out to see what families struggle with, and maybe then based on their responses, we will cater and tailor it.
Fantastic. That's great. So you're being really responsive to what their needs and interests are. Great, I'm seeing some more in the chat. Anyone else want to share with your voice? An online newsletter.
I know that somebody said that they were using social media in some way. And as a parent, I know that the best way for me personally to receive information is through social media. And so, I tend to not go to maybe the school website as much as I should to keep up. But when I receive something in my social media stream that directs me over to the school website for more information, that's what prompts me to go over there. So I don't naturally tend to gravitate toward, the school information unless I am, somebody's leaving some breadcrumbs and bringing me over there. So I appreciate, so the things that I see tend to come from, a active Facebook account that I get in my stream. So that's me personally, or I subscribe to a YouTube channel, right? And so, if there is a YouTube channel from my kids' school where they post student work as well as information for parents, like that's the kind of thing that I tend to go to as a parent. But I don't know how anybody else, how you receive information. What's the best way for you to receive information as a parent?
Yeah, I love that. I will share, I did a presentation for Brooklyn PCs last month, and one of the PCs, she was so fantastic. She said that she always, she sends social media posts with clickbait. And she said it's intentionally clickbait. It says things like, is your child going to graduate? Do you want your child to graduate? Or things like, is TikTok actually safe? And then, she'll direct them to like an ultimate guide about TikTok or information about, SAT prep and things like that. And she'll also oftentimes have students sharing like little blurbs as well, like a short video. Again, it depends on how your school kind of monitors that. But I'm guessing, Sue, if you ever saw something with a student on it, you would click on that too. Derry, were you going to share something?
I'm looking at the chat, and guys, I'm loving the response. There is a question regarding if it's possible to take a screenshot of some of the images and sharing it with parents.
You mean some of the images from Common Sense?
Yes.
Or no?
I think that's what it is.
Certainly, if you take a screenshot and then you say, here is a family media agreement, right? You use that screenshot and then you direct them over to the family media agreement. By all means, however you want to promote, push out information to lead back to the resource that you want to share with parents, if that's what works for you, do it, right? Like however you want to bring parents to a resource that's going to help them, whatever you got to do, grab them by the, lasso them in and pull them over to where it is that you want to take them.
I have a question.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, Carmen. I see Mariano has a question too. And I was going to say, you could also, make a candle.
No, Carmen can go. It's fine.
Okay, it's just quick. I know that we keep talking about the text messaging. When we send the text message, is that text message going to go out all in one shot to the families, or does it go out individually?
So for the tech balance, they can text the message, the number, I'll put it back up in a minute, but again, if you want it in Spanish, you would write familia. If you want it in English, family, and then they'll be added to our list, and they'll just individually to whichever device they texted from, get those messages twice a week. And they can always unsubscribe at any point if they want as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mariano.
Yeah, no, thank you, Derry and Ed, if you're still here, for inviting us to this Friday stuff. It's really good to end the week this way in an upbeat. People usually start the week in upbeat, but people forget about ending the week in a good note too. Now, I wanted to share that Kinvolved at the International High School at Prospect Heights here in Brooklyn. Kinvolved has really revolutionized our messaging with the parents this year. Kinvolved really works for us. Works really well. I can hit up the parents from my DOE cell phone, which is a smartphone now. Yay, I had a flip phone for 7 years.
Wow.
And so now I can involve the parents, like in the morning, and we have like set involve times every week and different things. It's great because it's it uses the Google Translator, and it goes, like, I write it in English and it goes right through the other languages. I recommend that if you're gonna use software like that, if you're bilingual, check the Google translation first if it makes sense in Spanish, and then go by that. And once you kind of like, if it makes sense in Spanish or French or whatever other language you speak, then you could, it's safe enough to send it on the Kinvolved. Because, I was hearing about the clickbait, and in a multi-language, multicultural space, clickbait, especially text and emails, can get you into serious trouble. You can maybe do those kind of jokes like in person, and then explain, the idioms and this and that. But when it comes to text and email, you have to be kind of like very square, because it's going to go through Google Translator, which is not very human. So I just wanted to share that if people that are interested, Kinvolved really worked for us really well. I know it's not free, but it's been really good.
Melody.
Thank you, Mariana. Would love if you want to drop it in the chat, the link for those who wants to kind of think about more like other outreach on technology. Thank you so much for sharing. We would love, actually, in the team channel, if you want to just kind of share some of your strategies again with using Kinvolved. I want to hear it. I love text messages. But Tali and Sue, we have a few more minutes, maybe 2 more minutes. Can you take us back on how to use Tech Balance? There's still like several questions regarding, like, maybe doing a demo, how we can use it to like a step-by-step, how do we sign up for Tech Balance and how we text our families?
Absolutely. Thank you. And I just dropped in the chat too. I know every week I always share a link from Wide Open School. I did want to share with you the Tech and Media Balance link from Wide Open School, where again, you've got the Google Translate button, because this has all of the resources that we just mentioned as well. It's another great place to direct families. You've got Best of Media Lists, the Parents Ultimate Guides that Sue dropped in the chat that tell you everything you need to know about Roblox and YouTube and Snapchat and so forth. And if you scroll down, you've got Tech Balance here too. So I'm going to click on that right now. It's going to take me there. If you go ahead and pull your phone out right now, you're going to send a text message to this number, 21555, and you're going to put in there the word kids, or if you want it in Spanish, familia. Okay, kids or familia. There's also this video here. So if you wanted, you could either do this with your families directly, or also send them the short video to give them some information about it. What I've seen, and I'm thinking back to Carmen and Siddiqa and a lot of you sharing that one-on-one is so helpful, is if you show a couple of parents, maybe more than a couple in person, how to do it, and then say to them, hey, my challenge to you is to share this with 3 more parents in our school.
Or 5 more parents.
Or 5 more. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I will tell you, I had a conversation with a friend on the playground when they were like, yeah, there's all this crazy stuff on YouTube. And I was like, there's a lot of alternatives to YouTube, for your pre-K student. And here's some resources. And the last piece I wanted to share is in that presentation. We do have an article as well that gives you some tips for getting started. This article is bilingual in Spanish and English. And it sounds like so many of you already know what to do and have a lot of ideas, but here's some other ones. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just want to say, I know everyone's been saying it and we kicked it off like this, but this is really this is such a fantastic and special group. And I always leave feeling motivated by your support and care for each other and for our families. And so I really want to thank you. This has been an unbelievably challenging year. We are going to put our survey. It should take you literally 2 minutes. I believe the topic today you could just click on is digital citizenship. And this just lets me and Sue know what worked for you, maybe what you would have wanted different, you know, for future PDs. So thank you again, and I will be here next week in some form sharing another wide open school tip.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tali. And Sue, welcome to our Digital Friday. It was a pleasure meeting you. And it's always great when we have our Digital Friday guests to share some new tips for our, you know, for us to level up on our outreach and also level up on our technology skills. So thank you so much to you and to Tali for this wonderful presentation. Guys, if you can take a few minutes just to fill out the survey for Tali and Sue. I mean, I say this in Watch Party Wednesdays, we love to look at surveys. I know all of us, we always look at feedback because we want to make sure that, you know, what can we do to make this platform, you know, 3.0, because I think we're at 2.0. So we could 3.0 it. So with that,
I'll also say that,
yeah. Go ahead, Laura.
I was going to say, and when we take the surveys, remember, this is what helps us keep this going. A lot of you have said you want this. And so we also need to like justify, and that is why you constantly are getting bombarded by teams like us saying, take our survey, because it's what allows us to say, look, you know, people want it and they're loving it and they need it. So if you want this, you got to take the survey.
That's right. So let's take a few seconds before you log off, take the survey. I'm gonna put some music on. I have to say something really funny. I was checking the chat and I realized everybody was like, wow, cool background. I didn't know how to zoom background. So I was kind of floating. Now I know why I was looking green. I was like, wait, what's happening? So that's pretty funny. I just had to share that. But thank you, Laura, Lisa, Latiqua. We're going to be jamming for a few seconds. As always, Latiqua is going to drop in the chat your attendance. Make sure you guys fill out that attendance form because we do look at who's here, who's our favorite fans. I shouldn't say favorite fans because you guys are all of us are. You guys are all of our favorites. But we do appreciate your time. We appreciate your support. And we thank you, you know, for the shout outs. I like it when you guys send me the emails. I start cheesing when I see emails from you all just saying thank you. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. So thank you everyone for your hard work. We made it. It's Friday. Let's fill out the survey. Laura, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Derry. And again, huge thank you to Tali and Sue, especially to Sue, who is joining us from the West Coast. I mean it when I say that's dedication. We appreciate it. So Sue told us if you joined a little late, she only does this for us. We are that special here at the DOE. All right. So thank you so much, Sue, for waking up extra early for us. We appreciate it. This was phenomenal. I really enjoyed the conversations that I had in the main room, but I also know we had some amazing breakouts. I really, really hope that you feel really empowered, right, to go back to your school and share this information with your communities. Remember, that's what this is about. We're past engagement. This is about empowerment. It's about doing things to get the message out to your families. So remember, if you need support, you can always ask us. I know that Tali and Sue have made the presentation available. Their contact information is in there. You can always reach out to them. Remember, Common Sense is one of our partners here at the DOE, and they will always support us with our digital citizenship needs. So please reach out to us. And do remember that next Tuesday, Christina and the EdTech team will be supporting us in our coffee and tea tech talk. So if you need additional support, remember that's another great space where you can get that support. We've been able to resolve a lot of issues, and even, you know, if we can't do it right on the spot, we typically escalate it and we get the problem solved. So you're gonna want to join us. It's another fabulous session, and remember, it's the final one of the year. I can't even believe it, we're getting that close.
Wow.
But thank you again. I'm seeing all the love in the chat. We appreciate it so much. Are we ready for some music, Derry? I'm ready.
Oh, you know what? I got so amped up with these exciting announcements that I totally forgot to put the music on. So let's put some jams. Let's end it with some jazz. And again, let's fill out those surveys. And also make sure you sign in. So here's some jazz music for us to end our Friday.
Thanks, Darian team. You guys are great. Another great PD Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Laura.
Thanks for always supporting.
You guys are great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. We know you come every week, so thank you. Thank you a lot.
Gary.
Hi.
Listen, Gary. To get the digital cards for Starbucks, how we could, I have a suggestion. You could go and look on the sign-in sheet and then determine the districts, break it down in boroughs, give them, have everybody get the account number and their PIN. You can email it, because for parents, teachers appreciation, they gave me a digital, what you call it, that place I love to go to all the time to eat. Anyway, they gave me a digital PIN and an ID, and that's how Panera Bread, right? So they said, congratulations, we appreciate you, and appreciation week. And here is a digital Panera Bread card. So I was like, how am I going to use this? So they attached the account number, and then they gave me a PIN. So then when I tried it, I was like, uh-oh, it doesn't work. So when I called in the girl, she had another number attached on to what was given to me. So it was an account number and a PIN. And now, voila, I could use it.
You know what I figured out? I'm glad you're saying that, because yesterday I was actually in a meeting. I contacted the headquarters. They gave me 3 ways to do it. So now I have to do a 3-step process. So I do apologize. It's been a challenge. I thought it was going to be so easy, but it's not easy sending 300.
Yes. You cannot do
I
it.
didn't know it was this challenging, especially trying to do it from my network. Actually, we're going back in person soon. And I can use the DOE network to kind of like do what they told me to do, a standalone email. So I'm going to do a standalone email with a form. So you have to do the form first so that I can confirm that you received your email.
But
so
that's a lot of work for you.
But that's what we're talking about, everyone. I apologize. You know what? This is what we're doing. This is the post chat. So we're chatting. For those who did not receive their Starbucks card, no one received it yet. I've been having a challenge trying to send 300 for, if you attended the summit, you will receive a Starbucks card. But I would definitely send another follow-up email just to let you guys know what's happening, because in that same email, I have some other exciting news that I think that we're asking for a little bit of support. So check out an email from Derry. It will be Derry and the Parent Empowerment Team coming up soon. So thank you so much for bringing that up here. I wanted to share that. I'm like, oh, thank you. I forgot to say that in my announcements. You guys rock. This is what I'm saying. We're a community that we all help each other. So I appreciate that. If you guys
can I ask a question?
Hi, yeah.
All right, so this
Laura,
is
we're
you
done
talking
with the
about.
recording, right?
I'm sorry.
Let me stop recording.